And away we go on our Friday roundtable. I am Dan Labbe. We've got Doug Lesmerises here, Scott Patsko, Ellis Williams, Mary Kay Cabot, and we are ranking the top 10 Browns. So let me tell you how we figured this out. We started by everybody sent me their list. I'm the only one that knows these rankings. I feel really like, I don't know. I feel powerful here all of a sudden for the first time in my life. Everybody sent me their top 10. I did the math. I double checked the math because I didn't want to get it wrong. I even double checked all your guys' lists. And basically got 10 points for first, 9 points for second, and so on down the line. The 5 of us did it a couple weeks ago. I asked our texters to also rank, so I included their rankings, their top 10 in our list. And so away we go. We're going to count our way starting at 1. We're going to start at the top. We're not going to go backwards to forward. Number 1, there's no surprise here. It's Myles Garrett. And it's not just Myles Garrett. It is unanimously Myles Garrett. So number 2, and I'll admit there was a tie here, and I invoked the tiebreaker. This guy got more second place votes than the player he was tied with. This is where Baker Mayfield landed.
Oh, that's wrong.
He was second on 2.
If we're doing this exercise the way I thought we were doing this exercise, I don't think that's defensible.
Well, let me tell you, he was second on 2 ballots. His lowest placing was 6th. I mean, let's be transparent here.
Hey, someone's going to have to state their case here for 2.
If we're going by like how good you are at your position, I mean, actually, the point that Scott made that Myles Garrett might be the only guy on this team who's in the argument to be the best at his position, I actually think that actually is not quite true. There are other guys on this team who are in the conversation to be the best guy in the league at what they do. I think there's at least 3, maybe 4 other players on this team that are in that conversation among the top 5 at their position. Baker Mayfield is not in that conversation, the quarterback. And if that's how we're doing this, like this doesn't make any sense to me.
Mary Kay, it was you and I that had him second. So you go first.
Well, I was just going to say, I was going to say, is that how we're doing this? We did not, once again, and we never do. We don't put parameters on how we are ranking these guys and what our lists are. I think the only thing that we said is how we think they project and how we think they're going to do in 2021. So I'll tell you what my thinking was here. First of all, I have to tell you, quarterback trumps almost every other position for so many other things, in so many ways, in so many categories, and for so many reasons. If you don't have the quarterback, you're not getting there. And a major reason why they made the playoffs this year is because Baker Mayfield cut those interceptions down from 21 all the way down to 8. Doug's shaking his head right now for those people. This is a podcast.
It's not even, that's not it.
No,
but keep going.
This is it. So Baker Mayfield is an absolutely enormous reason why they made the playoffs. He got his act together and he elevated the play of everybody around him. And if you just look at that ratio of 20 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, that gets you there. And that is valuable. And it is also the reason why when you're drafting that you bump up those quarterbacks higher than most other positions. And you throw out a lot of things that you might need, because if you don't have that quarterback, you're not going anywhere. So in terms of just position of importance, Myles is the guy on defense. Baker Mayfield is the guy on offense.
It's not important. It's not valuable. That's not what the list is. It's best. He's not the second best football player on this team.
I think if he plays like he did from the Jacksonville game on, and even if we want to go all the way back to week 7 on, when he was the 3rd highest graded quarterback by PFF, I think if he plays like that next year, and that's part of what I'm doing here is I'm projecting. Are we going to get that Baker Mayfield, or are we going to get the Baker Mayfield that was in the first half of the season? If he plays like that next year, now we're talking about a guy who within the league is not just top half of the league, not just top 10. We're talking a guy who's got a chance to establish himself among the best in the league. And that to me makes him second.
All right. Can I talk for a second?
Nope.
Yeah. Ellis, first of all, let's see. You had him down at 5th.
I did. So the people who aren't watching, because this is a podcast, I just had to get up and crack a window because this is going to get really fun. And I'm so glad that unlike the other times we've done this draft, the guy centered around Bark Week, the guy we're kind of trying to have a conversation about, comes up really early. And I see both sides of this. I truly do. In our text thread, we talked about how this had a NFL top 100 feel to it. So when you combine that with what Mary Kay and Dan are saying, I think there's a lot of proof there. Like, for example, Justin Jefferson, if you look at PFF's top 100 grade, which is essentially a knock or a ripoff of what NFL top 100 does, he was 16th. You know, no one here thinks Justin Jefferson in a fantasy draft is going to be the 16th player taken in the NFL. But based on what they did in 2020 and projecting them into 2021, I completely see this. And I don't know why you couldn't make the case that Baker Mayfield is, quote unquote, the second best football player on this team. Now, clearly my listing doesn't agree. And before I pass this off, I'm sure Scott has something to say, and I know Doug's got something to say. The data proves, and just the sourcing of data proves this exact argument, and why I bet we could spend 30 minutes on this. Baker Mayfield on this team, according to PFF, the third best offensive grade, putting Miles in probably puts him at fourth. But again, third best offensive grade on a team with a lot of offensive players PFF loves. QBR had the 10th best QBR in football, and everyone's talked about and written about Baker's QBR over those last 7 or 8 games, whatever it was. Only, Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers had better numbers, so on and so forth. And then you get to DVOA, and DVOA puts him at 17th. And that's really what we're talking about here with Baker Mayfield.
I had him fourth. It just seemed like a right spot to put him. I have a few guys ahead of him who I think have been better longer and who are closer to the top of their position group. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a bunch of people who play different positions. Joel Bitonio and Nick Chubb, who's the better football player? They might as well be playing different sports, but we're doing our best.
I don't know who's better. I don't know who's better between Bitonio and Chubb. I just know they're both better than Baker Mayfield.
Oh, come on. So once again, 20, remember what I said, 20 touchdowns to 2 interceptions in the final 12 games of the season, including playoffs. They're not getting there without that. That is the reason why they got there. That elevated the play of everybody around him. And I don't even think that there's an argument here.